So everybody, I really didn't know what to say actually until earlier when I smoked a joint and became like a religious medical marijuana convert. It's really weird. Changed my perspective on everything. Actually, I've been doing everything wrong. Guys, you really don't want your name or face on anything. It makes you a target, and so like I was tortured, and it probably wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. And it was connected to the theft from my company. And if I was acting all like crazy and paranoid, guys, like yeah, they really like stole a bunch of money and made like politically related threats, and like a whole bunch of really fucked up shit happened, and my family had to move 4 times in 3 years. I spent $750,000 on legal, which then put my name on a whole bunch of documents that I did want to release and like I wanted to give to you guys. Because frankly, you deserve to know, right? And really, like, if there are engineers stealing an ecosystem, like, that's super, super not cool. And, that might lead a paranoid bipolar to kind of think that, like, the ICF had some sort of crazy conspiracy against it, right? Because keep in mind that, like, that is me, right? And, I don't know, maybe they did, right? Maybe they didn't. It really doesn't matter at this point, okay? This is like my last ever public appearance because my family's way, way more important. And I mean, all I really gotta say is that, like, yeah, literally, I was tortured, and like it could have been a hit, it could have been a fucked up, crazy warning, it could have been a lot of things, right? But like, yeah, like literally tortured by like a former Marine commando. It's not good. You don't want that in your life, and I was like really broken, and so along the way, I also made some dangerous choices with like other people's info and their convos with me, and I just want to say, guys, like, don't. It's not worth it because like I wasn't thinking about the types of risks that I was exposing people to, and I don't want it for any of you guys. Okay, like you're all really fucking wonderful, and probably coming here. I don't know why I had the epiphany here, like how that happened. Like maybe it's drugs, who knows? But like seriously, it doesn't matter. Okay, I was fucking up like really really badly, and I just want to advise everybody here that in terms of yourself, okay, like if you want to have a family, if you want to not constantly be looking over your shoulder, if you want to have like a normal-ish life, right? Because keep in mind, like really, my wife and kids are like my North Star. And guys, until I smoked that joint earlier today, like I don't know, my wife, she was upset. She's pregnant, right? Like this happens, right? But I just couldn't handle it, right? I was that fucked up in the head. And I was like, probably gonna self-destruct, right? Because like guys, like really, the whole truck thing was just like I was just like way too upset, and like I don't know, I went crazy. That's something that can happen to me, and I learned how to manage that, right? Like doctors and medication and stuff like that. And apparently, with this concussion, I might need to add weed to my like medical regimen. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but like that was amazing, and I do actually want to say that like. Well, I don't really. No, I have no idea, but it's very good, and I feel way better. And thank you all, like a lot, for everything you've done. And if I ever added to your publishing exposure, like I'm really, really sorry about that. I would never ever do it again. But then, secondly, those of you using your face, I do want you to consider that if Bitcoin goes to $1 million each, right, or some other crazy thing, or Barra goes to $690, or it doesn't really matter the circumstance, right? But you're publicly affiliated with that community. You just became a target for the type of attack that was aimed at me, and yeah, you really, really don't want that. Okay. I would really recommend that you go quite private. I don't know what measures I'm going to have to take. But keep in mind, like I was tortured. I don't care, right? And I'm so glad that I can actually talk about this. Guys, I was breaking, and until 3 hours ago, um, I don't think I could, right? Like, I don't know, something just snapped at me, and I was like, oh my God, actually, I've been doing everything wrong, and there's a fairly well-established solution. And keep in mind that even like, if, okay, here's the thing, right? Like, it's gonna have impact whatever the hell happens. My family's probably gonna need to move again, right? And that's not really cool at all for them. And I was doing like very stupid things, like saying like, oh my god, stop the mainnet. No, for the love of fuck, don't do that. Like, it's very dumb, right? I'm not gonna do that, okay? Or like, I don't know, talk to you. We should be fucking testing mainnets actually, because there's an enormous divergence. We should just normalize it, okay? Because there's a huge divergence between performance on a test network and on a mainnet, and that's a huge problem. We test stuff on a test net, and the testnet doesn't perform as well as the mainnet, and then boom. But really, like, I mean, it could just be done, relatively privately, gather data. I think it's really important data, because I actually do think that this is what drove Luna, really. I really, really think that. And in the end, I think it was an Oracle manipulation attack caused by halting the chain. And like, we've seen this in other places, but what can I say? Like, go, guys, I was in a complete tailspin. And I don't know, at about 1 p.m. today, like, I snapped. And I don't know how long the concussion will take to heal, and probably that. But that people actually have finally been giving the right answer. What do you do for a living? I'm recovering from a concussion. Like, seriously, like, you don't know what you do, okay? Because guys, like, I wish this didn't apply to you. I don't want what happened to me to happen to you. I can't tell you exactly what you should change, but like, okay, just years ago I was asked, hey, could we make it so that nodes don't know where nodes are? That's a fucking good idea. If you're running a validator, guys, I publicized it with my name, right? And all it takes is one person who's, I don't know, maybe like also fucked in the head, right? And prone to violence from his past career, and yeah, that can really fuck you up, okay? But like, I don't know. It's like, I did that whole court thing in Singapore. We got an injunction, blah 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 blah. Yes, Decentria definitely did real bad stuff. But like, I think that actually the risk of pursuing that, right, and it hurt me a lot, emotionally and mentally. But it's not. Yeah, it's not worth it, and it just, given how dramatic the consequences are, I would recommend that you begin to consider fairly extreme measures. Because another thing is that, I think that many of you would not change what you do if the law changed, and we don't really know, God forbid, right? But we have no fucking clue. And so it's probably best for you to, really, really reduce your profile. And these conferences with people's faces are really nice, and I love it. At the same time, we put our faces and names out there a good deal too much, and I definitely did this. Okay, that was me, and it may feel faster, but it really there were. I said that at some point I'd do a retrospective on the show, and like one question that I always had, right, was just like, should I have actually, put my name on the validator or just started a fuck ton of nodes, right? And I think that as a community and as like a network of builders, we should actually normalize anons like a lot. North Korea is super scary, don't get me wrong. Like, they're really fucking scary. But you know what's more scary is having somebody threaten your kids. That's more scary, okay? That's like way more scary. And so, yeah, I wish I had like brighter news. I guess that's really it. Try to work privacy into every aspect of the architecture, and also consider that this can happen to our users. So like, I think that we really should further pursue private techniques and, do try to keep the users safe. I don't think I have too much to say in general. Like, I've probably said too much. I don't really mean like here today, but like just in general. Don't do politics, really. Like, okay, I didn't know that the Clintons and Bidens were making fake cell phones in the States, and looks like the new politicians want to do that too. And that's what was happening in Buffalo, and I reported on it. And like, I didn't know how political it was. It was like super political, and like, I don't know. Okay, I really don't know. That was 2016. And the degree of risk that you take is, I think, just too high, because we really don't know, like, is a politician going to like actually adhere to our values, or are they? I mean, worst case scenario, they literally drone us, right? Like, that's not even a joke. All right, Vladdy says it's time. I'll leave it at there because everything else is much darker. And if anybody wants to talk, like, please come by. I'm like, thank you. Oh my God.
This is, of course, very personal speech, and thank you, Jakob, for sharing your personal feelings. And maybe this is sometimes what we have forgotten our conferences. We speak so much about blockchains, about technology, and but all of us are real humans. In future, post-humans, of course. In future, we will implement very cool technologies inside of us, but until we did it, all of us have emotions, and this is nice, friends. Now I want to call on the stage our next speakers, and this is pretty big amount of the people. Tom from Plant Network. Pedro Vegas wrote us that he's really sorry, but he can't buy deal from Zurich protocol. Tigran, I also here. Noam, please, and Nicholas Lundqvist. Nicholas already here. Yes, if everybody have a microphone, yes, as I understand, everybody is here, but Tom here, yes.
Yeah, we're missing Vegas.
Okay, nice. So, friends, this is one of the main topic in whole crypto. So, if we will look on all blockchain projects, maybe 95% of them is about economics. And this is like, and this is not surprise, because the main problem of whole world and why the crypto start to exist was centralized economics with endless crises that we can't prevent somehow. And if common economics and centralized economics works perfectly for what we need decentralized economics, so decentralized economics is an answer. Most of the people, the main problem is like we don't have enough funds and we need to do something to get it. That's why most of our projects, it's about economics and about decentralized financials. And all of you are doing something to make this economical situation better. So let's start. Please tell us about yourself a little bit and about projects that you present and how it's related to the interchain divide. Noam, let's start from you.
Sure. Hello. Yeah, that's working. Hi, everyone. My name is Noam. I am the product manager for the Cosmos Hub at Interchain Labs, so the Cosmos EVM as well, by the way. The main thing I'm working on right now is bootstrapping the new and upcoming DeFi ecosystem on top of the hub. Sort of specific angle that we take that is unique to our ecosystem is the fact that we control the full stack from consensus to execution environment to interoperability, and then also the solver application layer. So we have some interesting things that we're working on. We're going to be sharing very soon.
Amazing. We're really glad to have you here, and we will ask so many questions about Cosmos Hub development.
All right, let's go. Hello, my name is Tom. I'm from the Netherlands. I am the project and community manager for Plank Network. Plank Network is a layer 1 Cosmos EVM chain, and we focus on mobile-first applications. So our thesis is that most of the crypto things will eventually move to mobile. So we want to make like really usable, user-friendly applications for mobile phones.
Hello, my name is Till, and I'm from Juice Protocol. I'm the core dev of Juice Protocol. Juice Protocol is a layer 2 lending protocol on the Terra Classic ecosystem. And we are here with fellow friends from the Terra Classic community to kind of represent the Terra Classic chain. And yeah, we are here to we are doing what we are doing to revive the chain and to represent the chain and to show that we are not dead.
I'm so proud. It means like even after all this crisis of situation, the community is alive and doing something. This is the best marker of how the Cosmos ecosystem community is strong. It's made of so many different small groups who every support own chain and whole ecosystem. This is very good.
Yeah, we're growing fast. It's impressive. You know, I do believe Terra Classic has found its identity. We are growing every day. For myself, I'm Nick Boulay. I got into crypto with my first project, which was a food token, which was created by our very own Frag right over here. And the goal of that one was to empower farmers across the world to grow food, good, healthy food, and we finance them with 100% of our trading fees. So it's really like a humanitarian project. Then came along Cookie. Cookie is it started as a meme token and now is a utility token for Lunkverse and many other things that we were building along with it. And I'm also the co-owner of Artemis Protocol. And that's we're building a USDC staking platform. So our goal is to recall some off-chain tokens and stake some USDC and work on our way towards a potential repeg one day. But to do so, we need to bring those coins home. Lunkverse. Lunkverse is our main utility, is the main utility for Cookie. It's going to be, I believe, one of the main utilities for Terra Classic and all of Cosmos ecosystem. And with Sputnik, maybe we can take it a step further.
This is we will glad for all kinds of collaboration.
All right.
Sputnik, it's a satellite, it's something that near to you and help you to send receive signals.
I think you got it right. It'll really help with the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. And we've already got email connects like for Lunkverse, so it only makes sense, right? You come to Berlin for nothing.
All right, so my name is Kuya. I'm here with my co-founder Till. Together we started Jules Protocol. I think yesterday we told you guys a little bit about the background and history and how we started off as a meme. we right before the testnet launch of the new decentralized lending platform on Terra Classic. And yeah, my background is also IT. I worked as a software developer for like 4.5 years, professionally in like Web2 and ASP.NET, Microsoft technologies. Juris protocol, I only focus on the business side. I don't touch anything. It's his job and some other people that cannot be here today. And yeah, I agree with Nicholas. Terra Classic, still think is the best place to be right now in the Cosmos. I'm sorry, guys. We just have the best community right now, but I think Cosmos in general has like lots of room to grow. So thanks for.
Yeah, very impressive and very cool. Like as the Cosmos ecosystem maximalist, I want to tell that all parts of Cosmos are beautiful. And a question to Noam from Interchain Labs. So, how do you see the development and what are you doing for development of the Interchain DeFi? Because like the Cosmos, it's we tell chain on Cosmos, yes, but of course we have Cosmos Hub development and we have development of the Cosmos ecosystem. How do you think is this the domain is develop Cosmos Hub or the domain is develop whole Cosmos ecosystem? What's your vision and maybe what's the vision of the ICF?
It's a big question. How do I say this? So I think, okay, actually I was thinking about this recently, and the last couple of years I've been traveling a lot, going to conferences, and especially going outside of the Cosmos bubble. What I find is that people generally think of Cosmos as like, okay, some really great engineers, almost some academics coming up with really revolutionary technology, but they're really bad business people. They don't really know how to grow. They don't really think about product. And I think historically this has sort of been the case. I do agree with this. And we're now in a situation where we have maybe the most interesting technology stack that is probably the least accessible, right? Like it's all proprietary. Cosmos is very proprietary. You can only come in there with this wallet that's called Kepler and Leap, and you have to install this. I think this has been a real obstacle, and we really noticed this in the last half year or so since Interchain Labs started working. I don't know if you guys know, but Skip got acquired by ICF, and ICF turned Skip into basically Interchain Labs, and they're now running the show in some ways in terms of the tech stack. And our priority focus is really to make sure for us to get out of this hole and to make sure that we can be accessible to the rest of the ecosystem. And that's not just for the Cosmos Hub, that applies to everything. The most requested feature that we've seen from people building Cosmos chains is how can we get an EVM on our chain? How can we get MetaMask support? And we work with your team as well as how can we get MetaMask support, Phantom support? How do we make it so that people who are on Ethereum based or even a lot of other places can just come to our ecosystem, use our apps without having to have all these big players? And to me, that's two things. That's incredible bridging, incredible onboarding, and that's something we're working really hard on with Eureka and with SkipGo. And then the second thing is like making sure that there's this MetaMask compatibility. And we're working really hard on this. There are, to my knowledge, at least about 20, maybe 30 Cosmos chains that are considering implementing the EVM. I think about a year from now, it's going to be very common for you to just be able to use. You're coming from base, you want to use a new app that you're seeing on Cosmos, connect with MetaMask, one-click onboarding, you're good to go. And I think that should be applicable to every Cosmos chain.
Very interesting. We was discussing also this question. So for now, for any project on Ethereum, they don't need to have such kind of like a chain registry. So they just can run and be in the MetaMask. And in case of the Cosmos, to be, for example, in the Kepler, they need to do something like, okay, somebody create the token factories, but where I can find it, how I need to edit, yes. And this is, for the technical people, it's okay, create pull request, wait, but for humanitarian people, it's a pain in the ass, like go to the GitHub and create pull request, what is this like? This is something very hard. So This is also the question for ICL as for Tom. Maybe we can make this permissionless wallet, and as the Planck network already have this wallet that connected as to the Cosmos as to EVM, to make it permissionless that we can just create the token and see the wallet without chain registry. And what's your plans to develop your wallet, and how do you see it?
Right, so we kind of developed our wallet because of two reasons. One of the reasons was that we didn't think there was a really good mobile experience out there yet for many Cosmos chains. But to be honest, the other reason was also that we had a lot of difficulty working with the existing wallets and with the software stack we were using. There were a lot of limits with it because you had to convert from ERC to IBC. It was really hard to get those new ERC tokens verified and how do you say, show up in your wallet. So what we're mostly going to focus on, we think that Interchain Labs is obviously going to improve the EVM stack, right? The EVM module, which is going to be really helpful because our team isn't big enough to make those really huge changes, but in collaboration, I think we can achieve a really good EVM module. And then finally, as Noam said, people can enjoy the beauty of Cosmos. What we're mostly going to focus on with our wallet is solutions that are really useful to end users. So that's going to be mostly our focus, things like onboarding users with just their mobile phone number, abstracting as much web-free stuff as possible and making it look and feel like Web2 apps. Because our vision is that there are already really good banking apps and stuff out there, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are really good apps with really good UX UI, and we're going to try to get as close to that as possible. And the fact that the technology stack now is going to get a lot better will be a huge help.
This is very interesting. I think there is so many possibilities for networking and collaboration between the wish of the ICL to develop more in this direction and overall you do. And from side of the Juris protocol and all this Interchain DeFi, we understand that the Interchain DeFi is always the several sides do it together. Yes, so when we need to create liquidity pool, we need to put not only one token, but several tokens. So what is your needs or what you need or what will help you to improve your Interchain DeFi and to bring more contributions to other, how you see this this development of Juris protocol in the way of the Interchain DeFi and resurrection of Luna Classic. What is needed as you see it to be done from your side and from the side of other Cosmos ecosystem networks or foundations?
Yeah, I think from I'm speaking of for Juris protocol, but from perspective of Terra Classic community member or Terra Classic contributor as well, and I guess making Terra Classic or making the technology stack of Terra Classic and so which is the technology stack of Cosmos chains in general more accessible to developers. I think that's what we should work on, but at the same time, it's a challenge for us to make that because no one in Terra Classic has the authority to make such kind of DNS is not a centralized protocol or a decentralized protocol, and so someone has to hold the website, someone else has to hold the DNS, and for example, David Skinner, he had 3 years, he needed 3 years of time to pass a proposal on Terra Classic to make a website for Terra Classic, and that was really challenging. And so that's really the challenge, I guess.
As you see, what can accelerate this process? What can help it? Is it that only a question of the data classic wish and community wish, or it can be done with some ecosystem activity?
I guess funding on Terra Classic is a problem. Currently I'm the only person relaying packages to other chains. I'm the only person to poke at Terra Classic is depending on me. And I guess I'm paying a whole lot of relaying fees and servers and so on. But the funding on Terra Classic is kind of short, and I guess, yeah.
So that's next question. And why Terra Classic in this case? Yes. For me, it's I'm proud of you that yes. So we have pretty big amount of the networks in the Cosmos ecosystem and among maybe more than 100 zones. You decided I will support, and this is your enthusiastic inner wish. This is not some conspiracy theory. Yes, why Terra Classic?
Because I think that Terra Classic is still the most decentralized. Even if we have these kind of problems with decentralization, which is this is getting asked all over the time. I think it's still the most decentralized chain, and we are kind of the successor of Juno, I think. Yeah, that's why. And the community is thriving. The community is excited. The community is bullish.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting. I need to spend more time to research it, because in the same and all you tell us this is the truth, because yesterday Nicholas, you was showing this metaverse, and you have so cool and nice progress. How do you see this future of your metaverse in the context of the Interchain DeFi and context of the Cosmos ecosystem, and do you have any plans to make this metaverse, for example, on Atom, on Cosmos, yes, or on any other chains, or it will be especially on the Lung?
No, so when I started building Cookie, our mentality has always been, let's go out and get investors from other chains and let's bring them in. Let's go to their home and build, and let's have them come discover Terra Classic, that we're still alive and kicking and thriving, actually. I'll give you an example, okay? We were trading for a while some wrapped ether, okay? Sending from one wallet to another on Terra Classic for $0.001. You can't do that on Ethereum, right? This is just another way we can develop Terra Classic, create a roll-up solution on Ethereum that's Terra Classic based, and create a fast, efficient, low-cost solution. So there's multiple ways that we can revive Lung, but one of the ways that we're figuring out with Lungverse is by giving multiple wallet connects, by having email logins, and having all these things, you're able to tap in not only the Web3 market, but the Web2 market. And then we can also use some Web2 marketing and Web3 marketing, like we heard in the panels in the past couple of days. There's a lot that we can do, and there's some money we can invest into this chain for marketing. It's so important, and I don't see it as a spending, but more as an investment in ourselves and what we've built. I think that's the next wave forward for us. That's how we create new investors, new traders, new eyes, new money. I think facilitating the process of onboarding crypto, it's all part of the challenges that we were trying to solve actively on Terra Classic, and everybody's kind of doing it on their own side. And what's beautiful about Terra Classic is that you have people working 365 days out of the year, 24/7, because we're a global community that's from everywhere. Everybody's working on their own project, on their own time, and it becomes a little bit complicated when you're trying to work with your teammates that are from Portugal, for example, or from UK, and I'm from Canada, and time zones and calls, and we end up going to bed at some crazy times at night. But we're here for creation of generational wealth. We're not here for a quick 10x. Like, I don't care about 10x. I'm not looking for 10x. That's not enough. You know, like, we're here to change a lot of things. And I do believe, like, this world, there's a lot of darkness. And we heard Jacob talk, man. That's some serious shit. Excuse my language, but like, it's very true. And when you input so much darkness into the world, you're going to have a counterbalance of lights, of good that comes out. And maybe that happens through Terra Classic. Putting money in the hands of people that are here to make some real changes within their own community and have an impact on a global scale. Do it on a small scale and have an impact on a global scale.
Yeah, I think that we forgot about very important moments that even crash of the Terra Classic don't destroy the whole infrastructure, and Luna was everywhere on all the access, and all this infrastructure is still alive. It's like it's just was economical crash, but not the infrastructure crash. And now I start to look on the Terra Classic a little bit another after that. And so this is it. Sounds like, okay, now I understand the theoretical potentials and how to do it. But what's your thoughts about resurrection of this Interchain DeFi and how it can affect whole Cosmos ecosystem, or will it affect whole Cosmos ecosystem or not? And also about some DEX solution. Yes, it's also, we have many topics about, do we need only one DEX and fragmentation of the liquidity? I think also Noam Moore can add after a lot of thoughts about it.
Okay, that's actually a difficult question, I think, because what I found fascinating about Cosmos chains when I started in crypto, which was like 4 years ago, basically I found out about this app chain concept, right? That's how Cosmos is built, I think. And I also found out about Luna, which like I didn't invest in before DPEC, but there was always a discussion about like, I think Luna was going a little bit out of the Cosmos app chain model because it was like a fat chain, like Ethereum. There was like lots of DFs on it. And I saw that back then there was lots of discussions like, where's the line, you know? Like you have app chains, like each L1 basically derived from Cosmos SDK, and then they add some modules and stuff, and it becomes its own thing. So basically, you don't really need L2s on it, right? But sometimes you then add some L2s on it, and then it starts to basically morph into a fat chain, and there was lots of discussions about it. And I myself, I'm not sure like how to solve it, and I think that also goes a little bit into the fractionate liquidity question, because if you have like several fat chains or app chains with different DFs on them competing for liquidity and like for use case and for users, then you start to cannibalize yourself within the Cosmos, right? And it's pretty interesting, but I cannot answer your question as to like what's the solution, because I don't know. I'm just studying this stuff and I find it interesting because it's like, I don't know how to fix it. Like, do you find a middle ground? But middle ground again is like mixing both concepts, right? Or do you go full hardline on one side, app chain only? But then maybe you say like, okay, but you know, if this is like a lending chain, maybe it would be nice to have XYZ on it. Maybe it would nice, you know, maybe we could build an L2 on it, which allows like perp trading, perpetual trading, and then you basically have a fat chain again. Like, it's a very hard question.
No, I'm totally sure that you have something kind of like a plan, because you already told that in our plans increase the liquidity in Cosmos kind of with 10 or 100 times, and I'm totally sure that it's possible. I remember more than a billion TVL on the osmosis, and I remember how it was so many people at the time joined know a lot about Cosmos, and osmosis was so pumping. And how do you think? Tell us about the plans to return back to such bright times, or even go further.
Sure. I don't know. So first off, I just want to comment on what you were saying and also the previous question, because I think one of the things that we went a little too crazy with is the number of blockchains that we have. I think there's too much block space. There's too much block space, and that's ending up costing us a lot of like liquidity fragmentation. It's a real issue. Maybe some of you might be aware of some of the conversations that have been happening to consolidate some of the things onto the hub. Those conversations are still going. Those matter as well, I think. But more fundamentally, I think there's like two things. There's probably more, but just two that I can maybe speak on. One is providing access and the onboarding, right? Like I think one of the reasons why the hub and Cosmos in general has suffered from lack of liquidity is because it's just damn hard to get in there. It's really hard to get in there. It's just a huge obstacle. So we talked about it. I talked about it earlier. We are fairly confident that we can overcome that issue. The second thing is maybe not so much in terms of like the total amount of liquidity, but rather the effectiveness of the liquidity that is there. If you think about it, if you go to Base, or you go to any other sort of like non-Cosmos network, and you type in ETH and you want to trade with something, there are a million versions of ETH, right? There's like layer 0 ETH, and let's suppose there's like Axelar ETH, there's like whatever, there's a ton of different ETHs out there. That really reduces the liquidity depth that you have, or like the depth that you have for like capital efficient trades. We have some idea right now of how we could solve this at the protocol level as well as the total on-chain, the off-chain level, where essentially something that we're working towards, and there's not something I can really speak on too much yet, but the idea is that if you were to go to the hub, there is one ETH, there is one Bitcoin, there is one this, there's one that. Even if it comes from many different places, once it arrives in the hub, it is actually one, and we will do all the complicated binding whatever in the background. This is something I can't commit to that this is really happening, but this is something we're researching right now. We have a pretty good sense of what that would look like, and we think this is possible. And by that, what I'm trying to say is the liquidity that will end up on the chain is going to be at least 3 to 5x more effective than it would be, for example, in any other network.
And how other projects can help with it or accelerate this process? Yes, for example, such bright ideas like, friends, you have so many networks and every have some community pool. If every community pool will provide kind of 10% of community pool to the liquidity with others, we already will have pretty big liquidity, because now this stock is just like wait for proposal and doing nothing. Like maybe or is it only the deal of the Cosmos Hub and ICF-ICL how to do it, or it can be something like do it together, friends? If we are ecosystem, let's solve this question, because whole ecosystem interested in the good liquidity.
Yes. Well, I will say honestly that our key priority now is getting the Cosmos Hub DeFi ecosystem started. That is not to say that we don't care about the rest of the ecosystem. We care about the rest of the ecosystem tremendously. But we do think that basically improving. Okay, here's this. If you think about Cosmos, what is the token you think about, right? Atom. That is the main token, and we've seen a huge correlation between the performance of Atom and the performance of other tokens as well. And we generally feel that if the hub does well, it's become a lot more attractive to enter into the rest of the ecosystem. The hub is still the primary fiat on-ramp platform, like in terms of exchanges. It's the primary way that people get into the ecosystem through Atom. This is 100% the case. This is, and I guess in the past maybe that would have been Terra as well. I think maybe nowadays you guys are getting back to it basically. But you come into the space through Atom. So if we do well with the hub, if we do well with our ecosystem, it becomes the entry point to the rest. So we hope with that we can lift the entire ecosystem.
And I'm going to say I kind of agree with Dom. I think every chain needs to have a hard look at itself and say, like, do we need to be an entire chain, or are we an app that could be on a more successful? Could we be more successful on another chain? Of course, we saw Stargaze try this. Apart from that, I also agree if Atom does well, we all do well. Atom is, at the end of the day, branding. And when many of us introduce ourselves, we're like, hey, I am this guy from Juno, a Cosmos chain, right? If Cosmos has a bad rep or it is hard to use, I think all of our chains will be kind of hard to use. So yeah.
Yes, I totally understand. Like, or just this is. It was some shock for me. I just was checking the income from the EVMOS, And even if post-human top 7 validator in EVMOS, their monthly income is quite of $1.20. And we think, okay, why we still validate EVMOS? We check why Cosmos Station still validate EVMOS and Stake City still validate. Maybe this guy knows something. Okay, we will still validate it. Yes, and there is this we can tell about many Cosmos chains. Yes, and I remember that we have less chains, but they was much more bigger, and now we have more chains. So is it mean that the time of the creating new chains is past, and now we need to care about what we already created, or it means that just this is the process of evolution. Like we create 100 chains, 80 of them died, 20 alive, they create new forks, after again 80% dies.
I mean, EVMOS is a great example. There's a reason why when we started Plank, we used a bunch of their software. They had like pretty cool software, they had a pretty cool library, they had pretty cool ideas, but there was no business plan there, of course. It's kind of unfortunate that they're rich broke as well. But yeah, I think we need to work together and get like the best things of every chain could make like a really good ecosystem. And in that regard, I also think we need to look at what other really successful chains did, like Solana is extremely successful. And I think one of the reasons everyone says it's pump.fun, I also think that it's because there's really good leadership there. There's like a really good vision. There is someone at the top, and I know that it's not really decentralized, but at the end of the day, I am personally very happy that we have new leadership at the Cosmos Hub. And we have Noamir, of course, as a product manager. And at least there is now some sort of vision. And the vision could be like explained a little bit more. And I think the Interchain Lab needs to do more marketing to properly explain like this is where we're going. And maybe they don't actually know themselves yet. But I think
we have an announcement coming in on the 30th.
Oh, there you go. So, but I think we shouldn't underestimate the fact that we now have leadership with a vision. And I can speak from personal experience. We're a relatively small chain. And the second that ICL took over most of the things, we've been taken very serious. We've been included in many talks about what's going to happen to the EVM. And that's such a vibe shift already for me behind the scenes. I think people are underestimating that a little bit. And I think that could be a huge part of the revival of the DeFi interchain, of the DeFi thingy.
Decentralization doesn't mean anarchy. I think that's something we got to remember. You know, even though we are decentralized, I think we still need structure to move forward. We need deciders, people who make decisions for the chain. But once again, that still needs to go through voting proposal and go through governance, which is the best kind of democracy in my book. So
yeah, but there needs to be like good ideas come forward, and we should use our governance proposals sparsely and with like really good intention and clear vision. So I completely agree. It shouldn't be anarchy, and everyone that makes proposals should be held accountable for the execution, especially if it's going to cost money. But I have a much better feeling about it now than I had like 9 months ago, I guess.
So, does Interchain DeFi depends on some marketing, or is this depends more on the technological solutions, or it requires both?
I'm a huge believer that the technology is kind of there. I think that some things need to be ironed out, but I think the stack is really good because many people are spinning up chains, even people that don't interact with Cosmos that much, like DYDX. There's a reason they chose the tech, right? So it's there. I think it's more so kind of the vibe needs to shift. There needs to be some marketing. There needs to be good communication, and I'm sure we'll see that in due time. But I'm a big believer that if the UX is good, that's like the first part. Because if it sucks, someone's going to use it once and then leave. I'm the same way. If it sucks, I leave.
And you just need a good reason to go to Cosmos. You need to give it a good app, you need good things. You need to make money in there. You need to be able to have yield that is unparalleled in other ecosystems. I think the thing is, the reality is just we don't have the killer apps yet. Cosmos working on it, and they're coming. But this is a big thing. Like, what do you really do in Cosmos right now? There's a couple of really cool things, but like, and that's also maybe going back to your question, how we're going to bring the liquidity in. Like, like give the liquidity a good reason to be there, right? Like that's the most important thing.
I just want to add one thing. One of the speeches that struck me a couple of days ago was from Oak Security. One of the main directions people were getting hacked is because of humans, right? I truly believe the future of the cosmos is permissionless. If we were able to add more AI technology that takes away the human error, I think we are able to solve a lot of issues moving forward. That doesn't mean we completely take the human out of the equation, but we have some of the more complex stuff and security stuff be ran by computers.
We was already speaking with some of you with this thought. If we have 100% of funds, if we will spend 50% on marketing, we will spend 50% on technology. If we will spend 20% on marketing, we will spend 80% on technology. If we will spend 100% on marketing, we will get meme coin. And 0% technology, and this is fun.fun about what we speak and why the Solana now is the so for the long period of time, looks like in the cosmos we were spending 99% on the technology. Is it time to start? Do we have such technology that we can tell, okay, friends, maybe it's time to spend something on marketing, or do we need to spend on marketing, and if yes, how much?
I think it's really easy to say like just spend money on marketing. I think a big fact currently is that the end users aren't there. This isn't 2021, so who are we directing this marketing to currently? I think currently it's fine to hold out a little bit. I think speaking for us, we're doing some cool stuff, and we're happy to wait with bringing it out a little bit until the craziness in the world hopefully dies down a little bit. And I hope that the Cosmos Hub kind of does the same thing, where they're clearly coordinating a lot of projects launching there. I'm sure the marketing efforts are much better spent when there's actually shit to do, because you can do marketing now and there's still nothing to do.
That's exactly like, yeah, it's believe me, we have a very good sense of the need for marketing. I do think that the framing of this way of marketing versus technology is maybe too simplistic. A lot of the work and the money that we're spending right now is in actually like closing deals, incubating teams. I wish I could say the numbers we're looking at in terms of like how expensive it is to get some of the partnerships onto the hub. They're crazy numbers, and that's really where some money's going right now. Marketing will come once the apps are there. And of course, we do need to do a better job of communicating what the roadmap is, and we will. We have a very good sense now of what it's going to be looking like. But yeah, we can't market to retail if there's nothing to do at the moment, right? So, TBD, soon.
Juris protocol has any?
Yeah, maybe because you guys are OG builders, like you're here for long years, and we're like new. But maybe some perspective helps, because we're retail, right? We were the users of those protocols. And I sometimes have the feeling that the better the devs on a chain are, and I think Cosmos Chain is like all Cosmos chains, there's like lots of talent, people are dedicated to the tech, and they are so in love with tech that it's the only thing they think about all of the time, right? They're like, oh, we can build this stuff, it's so cool, with this tech we can do this, and there is an update for Cosmos, but sometimes I have a feeling like they do it the other way around. They just build because they can build, but they don't think like, hey,
Yes.
What could be built, or what, like, if I'm a normal user, if I know nothing about crypto, like, what could I build that's useful for a person like this, and that's maybe do research and say like, okay, this tech here fits, this Cosmos chain has like these features, it's nothing against you guys, by the way, like, just an observation in Cosmos in general. So.
I completely agree with you.
Yes. And in fact, I will add also, so I've been working in Cosmos and in and around the Interchain Foundation or Interchain Labs for about 4 years now. And when I joined, it was exactly like how you described it, right? It's like Interchain security is a very good example of this. Some people were just like, all right, we're going to build this. This is going to be great. but there was no process of validating whether or not we have customers, whether or not there was a demand for this, whether or not there was actually sort of any business model that we can, work around. Right now, the way that we build products is like, we simply will not build it unless we have a customer, unless we have a good sense of like, okay, this is some percentage of market share that we can capture through this model, through this protocol, whatever. This is how we go about things now. I think that's the beautiful thing about the Skip acquisition. Barry and Mag, for this, I don't know if you know those, but they were founders of the Skip. Their whole approach was like a super customer and product oriented way of building. And this culture has now penetrated ICF and the whole culture within the company. And it's just how we do things now. And it's kind of refreshing to see that from a person who's been there for so long. It's actually quite nice to have a boss that tells you, why are you doing this? Right? And then to ask yourself, oh, right, yeah, no, that's a really good question. And then you go back to the drawing board, right? Like, this is exactly what the process should look like.
Right, and I think the beauty is as well, you guys can now get in contact with the Interchain lab. You can say, this is what we're building. What can we do to eventually also tap into the user base of the Cosmos Hub that is right now, maybe it's a little bit bigger than yours, and maybe we can cross-pollinate. But I think the most important thing is that there's the possibility to do this together now. There is some sort of communication. So I hope Luna has of course always been a little bit outside of Cosmos, even though it was a Cosmos chain. I hope you guys don't carry over that trade, and Luna Classic can also integrate more within the wider Cosmos.
I have a suggestion before we...
You first.
Yeah? Okay. Appreciate it. How about we start holding either weekly or bi-monthly podcast together as the Cosmos show unity, show that we're working together, we're making new bonds, maybe we discover new projects and make new collaborations. I mean, we're all on X, we're always on there doing podcasts anyways, right? I feel like it's a good way to make a bridge. It's great marketing as well.
Yeah, we can get Marius on there from Juno. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I also wanted to say it's great that you guys mentioned it, because when we started Juris, which was Rakeoff back then, I think now it's not in the documentation anymore. We updated it just now. But one of the main pillars was we want to branch out into the Cosmos ecosystem, not porting our protocol to other chains, because we don't want to compete with other Cosmos chains. And what we want to do is build bonds with other chains. So we did launch an osmosis, and we tried to really get into touch with people, get maybe liquidity for the pool, right? Because it's very hard to self-fund if you're small project, right? And liquidity is we wouldn't have needed, for example, osmosis liquidity, right? And Osmo or another chains, and not even about funding or liquidity, just in general having contacts, being connected to each other, working on problems together. That's something that Juris was supposed to do. It worked great in some ways, not so great in others, but that's the beauty of these summits, right? Because now we get to know each other, exchange some Telegram contacts already, some WhatsApp numbers. And so I'm looking forward to the next year and see if we can come together.
Yeah, by all accounts, your app looks very good. It seems like you have a really good working app now. I'm sure if you show it around and get in touch with the right people that you clearly met here, I think we can come a little bit closer together.
Awesome, looking forward to it. So look, Terra Classic could be the special Luna chain that comes back to the Cosmos.
For real.
Like the special kid.
What a wholesome panel. So nice. Everyone loves each other. This is great. What a great panel.
Friends, I'm so excited. This is my wish that after the Interchain Summit, people several times, you remember how we met on the Interchain Summit, and this was the good networking, and now we do something together. I think it was the main idea of the Interchain Summit, to make a full networking space, and I really glad that it happens. Friends, please tell something what you want to tell, and some maybe call to action or advice for something, and we will finish second day after it. I don't know. Let's start from Puya.
All right. So basically, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's still here Saturday night and listening to us. Thank you for having us. And my call to action would be to just check out all the protocols, not only on Terra Classic, like everyone who's here, check out their projects, connect with them, support them any way you can. And this actually was the best experience right now, talking to Cosmos people, like making bonds.
You're also Cosmos people. We're all Cosmos people.
Yes, just 1 hour.
Yeah, we're definitely stronger together, that's for sure. And all our lives have been divided by color, divided by religion, divided by currency, divided by everything, right? Like, the minute we start coming together is the minute we are going to move so much faster. And I'll give you an example. I work on a farm. I started learning, doing all this stuff by myself. I never used a drill before 2019. Now I'm building my own buildings, okay? But like, you try to screw in a piece of plywood by yourself, like it takes a considerable amount of time. You know, you have to re-screw your screws and all this stuff. But when you're two, you got one guy holding the plywood, another one screwing in. It doesn't take, it's not twice as fast, it's 4 times faster, right? So when you add 3 people to the mix, 4 people, 5 people, like it's exponential. There's a lot of stuff that Cosmos can do, and I believe we can be the leading group of blockchain in the blockchain world.
Right support.
Understood. Thank you for having us at the Interchain Summit and to be able to represent Terra Classic, and I think also that this was really nice experience to have you guys here, or like that you have us. And thank you.
Let me be the first to thank you, Vlad, for making this all happen. It's very selfless of you. You put a lot of your time and effort and even money into this, so that's very grateful for that. Apart from that, I guess I just want to say, and I am very much doing this sometimes as well, I think we've done enough infighting the past 4 years. I know there's like quite a bit of negativity around still from things that happened in the past. I think it's a nice time to move on and unite, just like all the other successful chains did, right? You don't see this infighting, I feel like, anywhere else. So I think we should leave it at this conference and build a cool ecosystem together again. Because I feel like if the vibes are much better, I think that, the vibes carry over, hopefully, to the users, to the liquidity, to the market caps. I truly believe that. So that's about it.
Cool.
I have maybe a more practical sort of call to action. We got a lot of ideas. We got a lot of work to be done. We don't have enough people. If you're a developer, if you're building apps, whatever, if you're a founder of any sorts, please do get in touch. We need more people, not just at ICO. We need people building applications. We have the resources to help you. Please get in touch. The other thing I will say, in line with everything else here, is like Cosmos is dead. All hail to the new Cosmos. Let's get rid of the infighting, for sure. And I think we have a bright future ahead of us. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, friends. Friends, cosmonauts, the second day of the Interchain Summit coming to the end. In front of us will be one more after party. Today we will go to some other place, but we will go together. More networking. We don't need to go sleep earlier. Maybe only Stefan. No, Stefan don't need to sleep because he have early morning airplane, so he can party. And if you have any questions, please ask any questions. If you send your Cosmos address in the Interchain Summit chat, very good. If you still didn't do it, please send, because on these addresses we will send different gifts, NFTs, tokens. All of them will be added to the white list of Loonqueers. And sorry that we didn't do it still, because it takes time, and better to spend it on the after party.